G'day, this is the second video in a series of videos about my health or my improvement of health over a period of time. I'll put a link to the first video up here somewhere, and in that first video I talked about taking some measurements, getting the ground rules, understanding where I'm at, how many steps I take, what my cholesterol levels are like, a whole bunch of different measures. This video is about converting that into actions. What can I do about it, and how do I go about improving my health? With any talk like this, especially when you're talking about health, I've got to do the disclaimer and say this is my journey, it's a personal journey, and that you need to be able to get your own health assessment before you make a change in your levels of exercise or diet. So what's the goal here? What's the motivation? Why am I trying to do this? Well, I have spent the last 2 or 3 years, like many people, sitting on my arse, watching television, working from home, doing lots of things which they've been great. I should not decry it. Working from home, I've done it for 20 years now. It's been fantastic. I've had some great people that I've worked with, that I've worked for. I've done some great projects. It's been brilliant. But for the future me, I want to be able to do more exercise. I want to be able to go to more places. I want to be able to visit more places. I want to do more things. So this is what this is all about. So why don't I just get on my bike and go? Why don't I just see how it goes? Well, 260 kilometers off-road, especially when you're completely off-road, when you are a long way from civilization, you need to rely on yourself. You've got to be able to make sure that you can do all the things that you need to be able to do to keep yourself alive. And I'm getting old. I need to make sure that I'm fit enough and healthy enough to be able to do this. What I'm trying to do here is nothing new. It's nothing different from many people my age. I would like to refer back to a philosopher from a long time ago, a man called Pythagoras. No, we're not going to get all mathematical. He's a man who said, as one of the Stoics, no man is free who cannot control himself. So for me, that means I need to understand who I am, and what I need to control. That's what I did in the last episode. This episode is a matter of trying to understand, well, okay, this is the groundwork I've got to deal with. This is the environment I'm in. This is who I am. And that's what I want to do. What I want to do is be able to go and do these bike rides, to be able to go and do more off-road, difficult, challenging rides. But to be able to do that, how do I get from where I am now to where I need to be? I want to talk to you about cholesterol and the 3 parts that there are to it. There's HDL, or good cholesterol, and I'm going to refer to this chart here, which I'll try and put up on the screen somehow, which helps clear the arteries, carries cholesterol away from the blood, yada yada yada. High HDL reading is desirable. Mine is 1.5, which is completely in the normal range. LDL, or bad cholesterol, can build up in your arteries, reducing blood flow, causing blockages in your arteries. It can increases the risk of heart disease. And my LDL number is 4, which puts me kind of in that, borderline, not great, not bad, not great, need to do something about it level. Triglycerides is the key thing. Triglycerides are the most common type of fat found in the body and provide the body with energy, but high levels can make blood thick and sticky, which can increase the risk of heart disease. Hence I had the calcium, the coronary calcium function score thing done. Mine sits right in the middle again of the borderline area, but it used to be down in the low area. That's the big change for me, is that it's kind of just jumped up a bit. How has that occurred? I reckon it's probably sitting around for 2 years during COVID and having bacon sandwiches for breakfast. So what have I done to change it? I now eat Wheat Bix, or I eat my oats, I eat my porridge, and I'm trying to get off my arse. Oh, if you've ever wanted to know how your cholesterol number is actually derived, it's quite simple. Again, it's on the chart that I'll have on the screen. It's HDL plus LDL plus 20% of your triglycerides. This week we really need to talk about what does that mean, getting off my bum and doing some exercise. Initially, I said last week my average number of steps per day is 3,800, and that's very low. Now, the reason I know that's low is because I have a thing called a Garmin watch that's measuring the number of steps that I do, and it provides a little chart of me versus the rest of the population, and my numbers are low. But what is a good number, and what should I be doing? And also, being a lazy bugger, what's the minimum I should be doing every day? So how are we going to go about doing this? Well, it's really quite simple. Diet and exercise. The rest of my body sounds like it's healthy, or relatively healthy for someone my age and my level of lifestyle. But yeah, it's a matter of cut the calories, focus better on some foods, but in particular, get off my bum, start doing some exercise. Let's break this down. My GP has suggested that my elevated triglyceride levels are fat in the blood. I carry too much weight, I'm eating saturated fatty foods, which I need to reduce. That would show itself by excess weight, and also high triglyceride levels or fat in the blood makes the blood sticky, which would also give me high blood pressure, which I have. So the question is, what can I do about it? From discussion with my GP and from some online research I've done, I know, but it's for me personally, not for anybody else. There are 3 basic things that I can do to counteract high triglycerides. 1, increase my level of exercise. I've been recommended 30 minutes per day of zone 2 exercise. 2, reduce the amount of saturated fat in my diet and drop some weight. As a completely sedentary person, by increasing my level of activity, I will burn more calories than I consume. And 3, take an omega-3 fish oil tablet. The omega-3 fatty acids will replace some of the triglycerides in my blood, which should reduce my triglyceride level. A lot of people are probably looking at that and going, yeah, look, you've now been looking at the internet too much, but hey, a fish oil tablet a day is not going to do me any harm. Let's go back to point 1, 30 minutes per day of zone 2 exercise. What does zone 2 mean? Well, there are a series of zones, zone 1 to zone 4, going from completely resting heart rate to maximum heart rate, and zone 2 is 60 to 70% of your maximum heart rate. I know mine for my age is around 165 beats per minute, therefore zone 2 puts me in that range of around 110 beats per minute. How do I know that I'm there? Very simple. You are doing some exercise, you're doing some activity, but you're able to carry out a conversation, so I can be walking and talking at the same time. I'm not breathless. How much do I need to walk? 30 minutes, as I've said. I know that I walk approximately 15 minutes per kilometre, or 4 kilometres per hour. The good old Garmin watch tells me that, so I need to go for a couple of kilometre walk each day. It's also probably now a good time to talk about goals and motivation. being motivated is a great thing, and it'll get you going, it'll get you off the couch and get you started. But 3 days into doing one of these programs, when it's cold, grey, misty outside, motivation is really not going to count for much. Yeah, that's why I like to have a goal, so I can measure what I'm doing, I can progress towards that goal, and it also keeps me going when I can't be bothered getting off the couch. I know I'm accountable to that goal. Now we can start to get a bit more technical. I also know that I do between 106 and 115 steps per minute. Again, a pedometer will be able to tell you that. I roughly do about 108, and therefore if I walk for 2 kilometers or 30 minutes, I'll do 3,240 steps in that time. And that will take my total, my 3,800 that I'm already doing, plus 3,200 more. I'm now heading towards 7,000 steps a day. Again, is that enough? We'll see. According to Daniel Lieberman, who is Professor of Human Evolutionary Biology at Harvard University, he has said that exercise reduces our vulnerability to a wide range of diseases such as diabetes, heart disease, and respiratory tract infections. Exercise keeps our immune systems, our skeletal system, and our brain healthy as we age. A US study published in Nature Medicine of 390,000 people found that by walking 8,000 or more steps per day, it was very significantly protective against diseases such as high blood pressure, obesity, sleep apnea, and depression. Further, slow walking is better than no walking, but ideally it be interspersed with bouts of fast walking or walking up hills. The US National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey found a 51% lower mortality risk from chronic disease at 8,000 steps per day compared with people who walked 4,000 steps per day. And to paraphrase a Sydney University study, it found that an absolute minimum of 5,000 steps per day is required, and 7,000 steps provides significant health benefits, and the ideal number being 10,000 steps per day. I'd like to finish by talking about 10,000 steps per day, which is a number that's often touted. And 10,000 steps per day would be great, it'd be fantastic, it'd be lovely. The reason 10,000 came about was for the 1964 Olympics, when the Japanese introduced a pedometer, and the Japanese symbol for 10,000 looked kind of like someone walking. That's how that number came about. It's a great number to be shooting for, don't get me wrong, but it's actually come about as a marketing campaign. So to summarise, I need to be doing a minimum of 5,000 steps per day. Every day, no matter how good or bad the day is, 5,000 steps is my minimum. Ideally, I should be doing at least 7,000 steps with a goal of doing 8,000 steps, 9 and then 10,000 steps. It's a matter of making exercise a priority. That's the important part.